According to a new report, troopers have been ordered to push migrant children into ponds of water, lake, the river, whatever it is. Get them out of here by way of government mandate. Let's put up the picture of the guy who likely gave the damn order. Governor of Texas, Greg Abbott. Greg Abbott has transformed so many laws in the state of Texas, it basically operates like Florida, independent of everybody else's rules. Emails shared with CNN by the Texas Department of Public Safety detail a trooper medic expressing concerns to a supervisor over the inhumane treatment of migrants along the border in Eagle Pass, Texas. The trooper writes in the email that they were given orders to push the people back into the water to go to Mexico, and were also ordered not to give water to the migrants. The email is a report of weekly events and operational concerns from June 24th to July 1st, while the officer worked as a trooper medic. The email was first reported by the Houston Chronicle on Monday. So let me set the scene so far. This is an officer, okay? So if anybody says we're being anti-cop or I'm being anti-police officer, no, I'm being pro-cop. I'm being pro-police officer. I believe the officer. The officer created an email knowing it would become part of the public record. Why is that important? Because once it becomes part of the public record, if you know that it exists, you can request it under the Freedom of Information Act, known as FOIA. And that is exactly what likely happened and may happen more. In 1 7-hour period, this happened last month according to the email, 2 medics from the State Department of Public Safety said they treated a 4-year-old girl, a 4-year-old child, passed out in 100-degree heat after Texas National Guard personnel decided to push the group she was in back towards Mexico. A man with a significant laceration on his leg suffered when he tried to rescue his own child from razor wire placed on a deterrence buoy in the Rio Grande. A 15-year-old child with a broken leg suffered when he tried to cross the more dangerous part of the river away from the buoys. 19-year-old woman trapped in the wire was having a miscarriage. Let's keep those up, keep them up. I want to remind everyone that we have statutory law protecting migrants from this kind of treatment. We also have that statutory law upheld on March 30th. March 30th, 2023 by the United States Supreme Court, saying that they all do, in fact, have the right of due process. Additionally, it is against the law to set booby traps anywhere in this nation. It's illegal to do so where other human beings could frequent. It's against the law. It is against the law for a governmental official to see an individual dying and not provide the reasonable amount of care expected. While we are talking about this in the context of shock and awe, it should be talked about from the AG's office, or maybe even from the president's cabinet, an AG, an inspector, the VP, maybe the president himself, to say exactly how criminal this is. And they are launching a criminal investigation. There's more. The very next day, according to the email, the troopers got reports of a mother who had children trying to cross the river in an area without wire. The woman and one child were grabbed after being underwater for about a minute. Both were pronounced dead at the hospital. The body of the other child was recovered later. There's more. On another shift, the medics said they found about 120 people camping out, including nursing babies and other young children, exhausted, hungry, and tired. After a day when the temperature reached 108 degrees in the shade, the medics questioned an order to push them back to the river toward Mexico, as they thought it was, and I quote, not the correct thing to do, and one that could have led to a risk of them drowning. They were told to leave the area, the trooper wrote in the email. The trooper medics contacted their superiors while on duty, and again in writing, calling for changes to the latest Operation Lone Star policies brought in by who? The man I just showed you, Governor Greg Abbott of Texas. I believe we have stepped over a line into the inhumane. We need to operate it correctly in the eyes of God, the trooper said. We need to operate it correctly in the eyes of God. We need to recognize that these are people who are made in the image of God and need to be treated as such. In the email, the trooper also voices concerns over what they call the casualty wire. It's a booby trap, and it's illegal. The casualty wire needs to provide protection to the state and provide a safe means of travel on solid land to proper collection points. The wire also needs to be manned and patrolled constantly to provide security for these families who are seeking refuge, which is a legal standard in this country. The wire on the shore needs to be lighted at night so people can see the wire and not stumble into its trap. The wire barrels in the river needs to be taken out, as this is nothing but an inhumane trap in high water and low visibility, the trooper writes. In a separate email, also shared by DPS, South Texas DPS Director Victor Escalon writes to agency officials saying troopers should open the wire to help when necessary. There's more. As we enforce state law, we may need to open the wire to aid individuals in medical distress, maintain the peace, and or make an arrest for criminal trespass, criminal mischief, acts of violence, or other state crimes, Escalon wrote. When asked about troopers being told to push migrants back into the water or denied water, they told CNN the Office of the Inspector General is investigating that incident. Well, you just admitted there's an incident by saying you are investigating the incident. Let me highlight a couple of nuances here. Massive cause and effect. Why are they coming here and risking everything, knowing who they will face while attempting to cross the Texas border? It is because of economic inequity that we as a nation benefit from. They are coming here for work, for better opportunity. 98% of those who come to this nation undocumented come to work, which also means that there are employers who are willing to hire them. The same law that makes it illegal to work without documentation. The subsection of that law also says it is illegal to hire individuals without said documentation. But you never see the manager, the hiring director, the human resource officer, the CEO, the CFO, the COO get arrested in the scheme. It's only individuals who are poor and brown. Let me also say this. Thank you to the trooper. Even if, for those who are watching, even if you're not a religious person or spiritual person, understand what the man was saying in the email. He said these people are made in the image of God. What he was saying is they are equal to us. I am equal to them. That's what he was saying. I'm not sure who this person is, but we need more like you. Sharing thoughts.
Well, we're learning some things, Dr. Richey, and I share the pain here. I don't understand why. That's the issue. We're learning that there are still good people who are willing to risk things and speak up. If I had put up this razor wire along my property, and by the way, I'd be required to put signage up in Espanol if that's warranted as well to warn people, and I would be held responsible if it posed a risk. So I guess I'm wondering why the wire is still up, the barrels are still in place. I don't have a PhD in the field, but I also think it's necessary to work up a psychological panel on Greg Abbott. It's more than just mean. Why are you like this? Who hurt you so badly that you are this vicious?
Yeah, it's horrible. We'll bring you updates. They're guaranteed to be there.